Nike's PR team have been working overtime this week. Their court case with Odell Beckham Jr. finally concluded. They filed a lawsuit against the shoe surgeon. KD has called them out, and they weren't the only ones in the firing line. Adidas came under fire this week for this ad campaign featuring Bella Hadid. All of these stories and plenty more exciting sneaker announcements in this week's Sneaker Wrap. Hello everybody, it is me, Jordan Young, back with another Certified Hood Classic. Every Saturday I do these weekly sneaker news wrap videos where we look back at the biggest sneaker news stories from the past week and talk about some exciting upcoming sneaker releases. As always, we're going to kick things off by recapping this week's biggest sneaker releases. I think the biggest release that went down this week was undoubtedly the Air Jordan 4 RM Nigel Sylvesters. These were pretty limited from what I've been able to gather. There was hardly any pairs on the Nike Sneakers app. I know this because they sold out in like less than a minute. There was a couple of retailers that run raffles, but from what I've seen, very few dubs went out, and the resale prices right now, at least in my size, seem to be hovering around the £300 mark, which makes them tempting, but I don't know. Did you guys pick up a pair of these? Let me know. Also had the Comme des Garçons Nike foam posits. We had a couple of AE1s, a low top in the silver pebble colorway, and then this high top charcoal pair that went live on the Adidas websites and other retailers. There was also the pre-launch for the Louis Vuitton and Timberland collab. People that got up on this launch were able to secure their pairs, which are going to be shipping in 4 to 6 weeks. Also had the Air Jordan 3 Desert Camo, the wnba pair, as well as for you guys in the US, the Sneakers app release of the Trocadero SBs, which from what I've come to learn are still sitting in a full-size run, which is fantastic news if you wanted to come up on that pair. I really rate it. Pretty sweet week, a couple of cool releases in there. Did you guys come up on anything? Feel free to let me know. Rightio, let's get into the news. There are a whole bunch of juicy stories to talk about. We're going to kick things off with these lawsuits, in particular Nike deciding to take legal action against the shoe surgeon. I made a video earlier in the week going through this 63-page lawsuit in some depth, so if you guys wanted to check that video out, be sure to go and click on the video above. But to give you guys a very quick summary for the sake of this video, Nike have decided to sue the shoe surgeon for $60 million plus for trademark infringement, mass customization, as well as counterfeiting, and there are, I think, 4 or 5 other counts detailed in the lawsuit. And they've done this because, according to them, the shoe surgeon has built up an entire illicit Nike empire. He's been creating these mass-produced custom sneakers featuring prominent Nike trade dress. He's also been using labels and trademarks from other brands to sort of splice them together to make it look like Nike are working together with these other brands. He's also been building Nikes from scratch, which is essentially the definition of counterfeiting. And the big kicker is he's been charging people to learn how to do it, both in person and online. And despite Nike sending the bro multiple cease and desist orders over the past couple of years, he has decided to go on with these illegal undertakings nonetheless. The latest updates with this case are that the shoe surgeon and his team have issued a statement. They say in the statement, "We are confused that Nike has chosen litigation over a discussion, but we are confident with proper dialogue and collaboration we can resolve this with the new management team and turn it into a win for the culture." So what does this mean? Because according to Nike, they have tried to talk to the shoe surgeon and his team about what's been going on. They've even sent him multiple cease and desist letters according to the lawsuit, and so this statement just doesn't seem to make much sense. Either the shoe surgeon and his team didn't receive those letters, or they were completely ignorant of Nike's claims that they tried to settle this out of court, or maybe they're insinuating that these cease and desist letters never came and that Nike never reached out. Otherwise, why would you make a statement like this? Either way, I do think this case is going to be settled out of courts, but I do think it's going to result in the shoe surgeon no longer producing any products at all that feature prominent Nike trade dress, including the swoosh or the Jumpman or anything like that. And I do think he's probably going to have to pay a whole bunch of money. But yeah, it's a pretty juicy story. It's still developing. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and following me on my other social platforms as I keep you guys updated. And that wasn't even the only big Nike lawsuit of the week. The case between Odell Beckham Jr. and Nike concluded this week, and we'll go through the findings in a second. But basically what happened is, a couple of days ago, OBJ posted this picture on his Instagram where he can be seen posing with his very high-priced looking team of lawyers, essentially in the caption claiming victory. ostensibly, it must be said. OBJ sued Nike back in 2022, and this was over them withholding royalties from him that was owed to him from his re-signing with Nike back in 2017. Nike then countersued OBJ, saying that he was inappropriately customizing his Nike cleats as well as his Nike gloves, in some cases concealing the swoosh, which was counter to the terms of the contract. And they also were suing him for leaking contract details. Nike was seeking something like between $7 and $15 million in damages. Now, when the jury went out and came back, they actually ruled in favor of Nike, suggesting that they didn't withhold any royalties and they hadn't reneged on any parts of the contract. But they also ruled in Odell Beckham Jr.'s favor, suggesting that he hadn't done anything wrong in customizing his cleats or his gloves according to the contracts. And so no one really won here apart from this gang of very happy looking lawyers. The irony of it, of course, is that Odell Beckham Jr. probably spent more on lawyers' fees than he would have got from Nike anyway, and the fact that he didn't get any money from Nike is probably going to result in a net L for the bro, but he still seems happy nonetheless. Not as happy as his lawyers though. Kevin Durant has also called out Nike. Like I said at the start, man, it's been a busy week for Nike's PR team. They seem to be getting the smoke from all angles, but it's not necessarily a bad thing in a sense because they're getting plenty of publicity this week. But KD has a question for Nike following the debut of the brand's "Winning Isn't For Everyone" campaign, which you guys might have seen. It's this pretty cool looking Nike advert which has a lot of their prominent superstars featuring in a bid to drum up some hype for the upcoming Olympics. KD made a post where he tagged Nike saying, "Tell me, am I a bad person?" which is taking a quote from the advert itself, which is narrated by Willem Dafoe. And I guess he's a little bit salty that he didn't feature in the ad campaign, because the ad campaign prominently features LeBron James. There's also a little feature from other Nike athletes like Wembanyama as well as Antetokounmpo. KD's longtime agent Rich Kleiman got in on the act. He shared an image of KD in his recent campaign with Kith and USA Basketball, saying it's nice to be seen. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I can totally understand Nike choosing to feature LeBron because he is that guy for Nike. I can understand them using Wembanyama and Antetokounmpo as they sort of relate a little bit more to the younger generation. I don't know why KD's getting too worked up about it. It seems like a little bit petty, although I wouldn't be mad if KD was in the campaign. What do you guys think? And Nike weren't the only ones at the center of controversy this week. Adidas were in on the act as well. They were forced to pull Bella Hadid from their latest advertising campaign promoting a shoe that first debuted during the 1972 Munich Games. You know your history, you'll know that the 72 Munich Games were highly controversial because of the murder of a number of Israeli Olympic athletes. Critics of this campaign labeled the messaging as sick, featuring Hadid, who herself is Palestinian. And so this has been bad for Adidas in a couple of different ways. In running this ad campaign in the first place, they have been a little bit tone deaf to the history of the 72 Munich Games. And then in acknowledging this and pulling the advert down, they have annoyed the pro-Palestinian cause, resulting in a double L. Supreme were sold this week, and in a really cruel twist of irony, they were sold for a massive loss. VF Corp, which bought Supreme back in 2020 for 2.1 billion, sold them to this company here, Essilor Luxottica, which is an Italian conglomerate that owns brands like Oakley and Ray-Ban. They sort of specialize in eyewear. I also made a video talking about this story, so if you want to check that out, be sure to click on the video above. Now, the latest development to this story is that Meta and Zuckerberg could be interested in taking a stake in Supreme. It's reported that Meta would be interested in taking a 5% stake in the manufacture of Ray-Ban, among others. And the whole idea is to be part of this whole wave developing these new smart glasses. So could we see some Supreme futuristic Meta glasses in the future? I don't know. New Balance are officially partnering up with the wnba. I think this is a good move for New Balance because in recent times, especially, the WNBA has been getting a lot more popular with a lot more people watching games in general. And this strategic alliance positions New Balance as a key player in the sport, potentially challenging the dominance of other brands like Nike. And New Balance already have a roster of pretty impressive stars, people like Cameron Brink, and it highlights the brand's serious intent in getting more involved in the basketball sector. So I think this is a good move from New Balance. What do you guys think? Right, let's talk about some sneakers. Come on. We've had our first look at the Air Jordan 3 Black Cement, and not one of those first looks that's come off the Motorola Razr. No, we've got some really good images, and these have them looking really good. I still have my pair from 2017, which as you can see here are still in really, really good condition. I don't wear these nearly as much as I should, but a couple of the noticeable differences that I'm seeing is that the elephant print doesn't look quite so bold on the upcoming pair, which is kind of a good thing because that makes them a little bit more true to the OG. They look like they have a slightly thinner tongue, which I think is a good look as well as not having quite as much padding around the ankle collar, and the shape of the toe box looks good as well on this upcoming pair. Unlike this era Jordans, like from the mid 2010s up until like recent times, the toe box is a little bit boxy. So I'm liking the look of these black cement 3s. These are a must cop for sure, because I think these are one of the best Jordans of all time. One of the holiest of holy grail Air Max 1s are set to come out this fall, and we've been seeing some on foot, some video leaks. You know what I'm talking about, the Air Max 1 Chlorophyl, the Pata collab. This is being brought out to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of Pata. This shoe first released in 2009 for Pata's 5th anniversary, and if you're into this shoe, you've been following your sneaker history, you'll know that pairs of these have sold for crazy money in the past, and so this seems to be part of Nike's go into the vault strategy. Let's get some energy back into the brand again by bringing back these cult classics and these grails. You can see here the OGs, which look really nice still. And these, if they are the updated pair set to come out this year, look really nice, man. The shape looks good. Color looks on point, the paneling looks good, and of course it's got the Pata co-branding as well. So this is definitely going to be a must cop for a lot of collectors out there this year for sure. We've had a detailed look at the velvet brown Travis 1 lows, which are releasing in 2025, and I got to admit, when the first images dropped, I wasn't feeling them, but as we've gotten more high quality natural light type photos, I've come around to them a little bit more. They're not as bad as I initially thought, but I do feel like the Travis 1 low is starting to feel like it's getting overplayed a little bit. I'd like to see them maybe do another Travis Air Jordan 4 or maybe just something else rather than the 1 low, but these are still looking nice. It's definitely a shoe I wouldn't mind copying. Detailed look at the Air Jordan 4 Amamanye in the Phantom colorway. Remember, this is basically the same colorway that we got a year or two ago from Amamanye, but these just look like they have been dipped in bleach. I will say though, I like this colorway a lot more than the previous Amamanye 4, and the quality looks good. They've got the same quilted liner as before. They look like they've got the same type of construction, same type of shape. Quality looks good. September release, so not far away at all. I am liking these. What about you guys? We've had some official images of the Their Skate Nike SBs, which are releasing in August, so not even that far away now. And yeah, they look pretty nice. It's not like they're a real barnstormer in my opinion. They're pretty meh, pretty average. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if these didn't sell out. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's a pretty nice looking shoe, nice color scheme. I do like the green. That's my favorite color. The one freaky part about this shoe, for me anyway, are these Dubrays, which look, I don't know, man, a little bit exotic, a little bit sort of X-rated. Cool shoe nonetheless. Are they a must cop? Not really, but they're okay. Swarovski are going to be teaming up with Jordan Brands to bring us an Air Jordan 1 High OG in 2025. There are no images or no early leaks or anything to go off. All we have here is this speculative mock-up with this bedazzled swoosh, and I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not really that fussed myself personally, but hey, it could be a cool collab. Adidas unveiled this week a Deadpool and Wolverine Marvel collection. Both colorways feature inspiration from the iconic characters from Marvel Studios, and the model that they've chosen to use is the Rivalry Low. And according to these images, man, these look really cool. I am loving the Wolverine inspired colorway. These aren't actually even that far away either. These are dropping on August the 1st. This week we saw the announcement of the Air Jordan 39, and this probably would have flown under a lot of people's radars because, let's face it, in recent times people haven't been fussed in the least with the latest and greatest from Jordan Brands. They do look a little bit like Jason Tatum's signature shoe, and to be fair, look, they look like they would be great to hoop in. So from that point of view, absolutely good shoe. But in terms of excitement for the sneaker community, nah, not really. Gunna unveils a new Adidas Adizero Aruku. I'm not really into Gunna's music. I think he's a rapper. I could be wrong there. But yeah, these look kind of cool. They look okay on feet. This colorway looks pretty sweet. And obviously Adidas are making moves in the pop culture space. But yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'm not really that into these personally, although I'd have to try them out. Visual images of the Air Jordan 1 High OG Black and Metallic Gold I really feel like this shoe is probably 3 years too late. Can you imagine if these had dropped in the peak of Air Jordan 1 hype? They're supposedly coming out for 180 bucks, and the release date is supposed to be in August. So yeah, not that far away. Good looking shoe, really nice colorway. Also got some detailed looks at the Jordan 1 Low OG in the Game Royal colorway. These are supposed to be coming out later on this year at the end of November. And if you guys remember the hype around the Game Royal Jordan 1 highs, you'll know that this is a pretty desirable colorway. Good looking shoe, these look nice. And we also got some detailed looks at the Jordan 9 Olive. These are set to come out next year and are part of the whole retro lineup from next year that looks pretty insane, especially if you're an OG collector. Reebok have announced a pretty exciting collab with NASA, and the sneaker is pretty wild, man. These are supposed to drop pretty soon, actually, on July the 31st. And these look like some proper space boots, man. Reminiscent of the Nike mags. They've also got this low top runner as well, which look pretty wearable, pretty cool. They feature some NASA co-branding on them. Look like they've got some space age type of materials on them. I'm not mad at the low tops. The high tops I think are a little bit too much unless you're a fashion MF. Vans are teaming up with a bathing ape on the skate mid as well as the old school. These are actually coming out this week. I really like these, man. I like it when Bape collaborate on sneakers, and I like it when they don't do too much. This is very simple, and as a result, I think very effective. Rightio, let's finish off by talking about some of the big sneakers upcoming this week. And obviously with the Olympics starting this upcoming week, all eyes are gonna be on what Team USA are wearing, as well as what Nike are looking to bring out as part of the whole Olympics thing. And I wanna start off with these. We've got on July the 24th, the Nike SB Dunk Low Safaris, the Olympic pair. These look pretty nice. The big pair of the week for sure have got to be these, the Air Jordan 4 Paris Olympics, or they're also being called the Wet Cements. These go down on the 27th. Then you've also got those Vans that I mentioned before, and that is about it for this week. And that is it for this week's sneaker wrap. As always, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the video. Do me a favor and give it a like before you bounce, and do me another favor and go over and give me a follow on my other social media accounts with the links down below in the description. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care for now, and peace.